Hello, everybody. What is going on? Good day, friends, frenemies. My name, Control for Days. Tonight, today, I am walking you through a Modern League with the deck Black Green Yawgmoth. We are running a competitive list this evening. It's Friday, or this morning. I'm filming this in the evening, if you couldn't tell. It's Friday. Friday, I like to release videos with competitive lists that you could potentially run for your tournament this weekend. The list that we are running today is brought to you by a friend and local competitor, somebody who plays at my LGS. His name is Ryan Slone. Ryan won a very large and competitive RCQ this past weekend, so at the time you're watching it will be almost a week ago, with Black Green Yawgmoth, and this was the exact 75 that he ran in his event. The 75, I like it. I like the way he constructed his deck. I like the card choices for the most part, and I'll elaborate on that a little bit. So first, let's start with the main deck. Main deck is what you've kind of come to expect out of competitive lists at this point. It is March of 2023. This is kind of pretty stock in terms of a main deck for a competitive list. Biggest change, or the only change from what I normally do, is that there's a third forest over a Yawgmoth in this list. The reason being would be Blood Moon effects. That would be the reason you'd want an extra basic land. Ryan, I'll have you notice if you're watching this video, normally I split my fetch lands, my two off-color fetch lands, and as an ode to your list, I am running 2 Windswept Heaths, which is what you had in your list as well. It's against my better judgment, but I'm doing it for you. Rest of the main deck, all the normal suspects. 3 Birds of Paradise, 4 Wall of Roots, 1 Prosperous Innkeeper. We have 2 Endurance, 1 Hepatra. All the normal stuff. Sideboard. This is where I like the artistic license that Ryan took with regards to constructing and building his list. A lot of it is the same as what I've been running at my 75 right now. Specifically, we've got 2 removal spells, a Fatal Push, and a Go for the Throat. We have our 3 Thoughtseize, nothing fancy there. Our Endurances, our Veil of Summer, our Haywire Might, all these cards that we're so used to seeing. Ryan has decided to shave on a Force of Vigor, which I don't love, but it worked out well, so he's doing something right. And instead of the 3rd Force of Vigor, has opted for an Engineered Explosives, which kind of fits in the same kind of spectrum of matchups that a Force of Vigor would come in against. You can play it against Hammer, you can play it against Amulet. It can kind of slot in against those artifact decks as a board wipe. The thing is, Ryan is also running a 2nd Engineered Explosives. And the reason I like this so much right now is because 2 of the decks that are most popular, 2 of the decks that are on the rise and are can be challenging matchups for Yawgmoth, Creativity and Rhinos, his card is really good against. So it's kind of a pivot away from let's hate on artifact decks and more towards let's kind of try to even the playing field a little bit more so against these bad matchups. So I really like what Ryan is doing there, and I think that this is a very reasonable switch to make if you have an event this weekend and your metagame is going to be heavy in Rhinos and Creativity. Last things that we're rounding out the sideboard with, we have a Magus of the Moon, kind of one of the more popular flex creatures that people run in their sideboards. Obviously a Haymaker against Amulet, a Haymaker against Tron. They basically just need to have a removal spell to keep themselves in the game. And lastly, Sheoldred, another popular flex creature to run out of the sideboard. One that I've kind of moved away from as of recently, but depending on your metagame, this might be the right card to run. So Sheoldred is back in today's list. We're going to run Ryan 75 through a league, and we're going to see how it performs, and I'll give you my thoughts at the end of the video. Let's get to it. All right, we are jumping in match 1 Modern League. We are playing against Thurn not thurn, thurn. We are going to be on the play, and we are taking that and running with it. All right, so these are always very tricky hands to navigate. It's always a situation where it's like, turn 1 bird survives, this hand is great. Turn 1 bird doesn't survive, this hand not so great. I think because we have a second 1-drop, I think I'm actually going to keep this hand, although it is pretty sketchy, pretty risky. We might use this one for a keeper mulligan in the future. We're going to run with it though and hope this bird survives. Let's see what our opponent's doing. They did not reveal a companion, which is also influencing my decision to keep this hand. But just know, there's a lot of risk to keeping this. It's late at night right now when I'm filming this. Maybe my judgment is not what it should be. I don't know. Let's see what thurn is doing. Good old thurn. Thrun's cousin, thurn. All right, thurn leads on Scalding Tarn, which makes me believe that this Birds of Paradise is probably going to die. And they're hesitating to me, which says that they're debating whether they want to cast out a 1-drop here or they want to kill the bird. Steam Vents. Okay, so we're thinking Murktide, bolt the bird. All right, land off the top, 1 time. Always had it. Always had it. Never punished. All right, wall into Yawgmoth, and we'll pass the turn from here. We can potentially cord for a Dryad Arbor, but I think if this is in fact, oh, it's not Murktide. If it were Murktide, I think we might want to save these just because it's such a valuable card in the matchup. Ren and 6, we're going to be able to handle this quickly. This feels like creativity we're playing against. So, and they brought back their Scalding Tarn. So, establishing Grist in this matchup is really, really strong. So I think we're going to start to do that. So we'll get our Grist out there. I'm going to plus the Grist. Maybe that was a mistake. I didn't really think that all the way through. Yeah, that might have been a mistake. We should be able to get a Yawg into play next turn, though. So I'm just going to keep all this stuff back for the Court of Calling, just in case. We'll see how our opponent's turn plays out. If they bolt down this Wall of Roots, that will incentivize me to use one of these Court of Callings, if they try to do that. And if they don't, I might play this a little bit differently. Okay, we'll let this happen. Okay, and then they just pass the turn from here. Pulling another land would be great, and we did. So from here, I'm going to plus. I'm going to play out my land, and I think... So I can play out my Wolf and still have cord up for a Yawgmoth, so I think we're going to do that. Then I'm not going to attack here. I'm playing around to Spell Pierce right now. I'm not going to force this during their turn, or during our turn. And then during our turn, if we get the opportunity, we'll make a move. So we'll see what our opponent does here. Basic Mountain, sure. Xander's Lounge. Yeah, so now we're going to make a move. This opens up quite an opportunity for us. And the reason being is because now we'll be able to court again. Like, they had to have known that that was in our hands based on the way that we played up to this point. So I don't know that that was the right move to do that. Like, you need to represent something there even if you don't have something. Okay, do we want to draw a few more cards? So we have a court up for another 1-drop with the Wall of Roots next turn. Beseiju, not bad. I think I'll draw 1 more. Another Beseiju, okay. We'll just pass from here. I think we're in a pretty good position. So if our opponent can't handle this Yawgmoth on their turn, they're just going to lose from here. And then we'll just get ourselves another Yawgmoth, so we will be a-okay. Thurn is doing some thinking. Got our namesake in play. Can't imagine Thurn is feeling particularly confident about their chances right now. Okay, Dwarven Mine. Sure. Be my guest. Okay. So, I actually think that this is the correct play for them to make. There was a decision point where they could try to target their dwarf and like hope that I miss, but I think this is actually the play to make, and I actually like the play that they're taking here. So we're going to shoot down this dwarf token in response, and we're going to let this transmogrify resolve. We got ourselves another Wall of Roots. That's fine. No biggie. That's their whole turn there, and they had to do that. This Ren and 6 is going to die on their next turn. They have 5 cards in hand. So I think they're debating whether they want to shoot down this Yawgmoth or bring back a land. And they return their land, which I think is the correct play. Scalding Tarn back in hand. Moving back to our turn. Okay, 2. Okay, so from here, I imagine I'm going to kill this Wrenn and 6. I'm just debating how I want to go about doing it. 1, 2, Geist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I'm going to go this way here. So we actually might not kill this Wrenn and 6. It probably doesn't really matter too much, to be honest with you. The reason I'm doing it this way is because I can leave 2 mana up if I do draw into a Blood Artist or a Prosperous Innkeeper. I'm sorry, I'm trying to think while I'm going here. Go down to 10. There's the Blood Artist. Okay, so that's going to be lethal from here. We'll just play out a Besage You. So that was the reason I tapped my mana in that fashion. Okay, then we'll just combo out from here. Our opponent scoops, we're up a game. Alright, so our Engineered Explosive is going to come in handy here. They didn't represent a 5-color list based on what I saw, so I'm not going to bring in Force of Vigors as of right now. I'm going to bring in the Might. I'm going to bring in, I think, these cards. I think. Shieldred's a maybe. On the draw, I might not bring that in. I might just go with these 7, maybe even these 6. I don't love trying to fight their hand, just because they do bring in Veil of Summers of their own, so it doesn't always feel great. Cards I'm going to shave. I'm going to shave our Birds of Paradise. Yawgmoth, not great in the matchup either. I don't like Innkeeper in the matchup. And then I think a Chord of Calling. I think we'll go with this. Do I want one more Thoughtseize? I just don't love Thoughtseize here. Kind of want to keep the Endurances in just because they do have Persist. Maybe I'll shave down another Chord of Calling on the draw. I think I'm going to shave a Wolf and bring back in another Chord. And we'll go with this. We'll see how this looks. Game 2. The last video I filmed, with Yawgmoth, we went 4-1 and our only loss was to creativity, so I would love to avenge that right now. They keep a 7. I think fairly obviously we cannot keep this. We can keep this 6. I do like this. And this is a little tricky in terms of what we get rid of. Like, the Wolf is the worst card, but I kind of want to be curving out. Explosives. Maybe it's the Explosives. Maybe I'm just trying to be proactive this game. Like, I kind of want everything that's here. I think I'm going to play a little risky. We're going to get rid of the Explosives. The reason I'm doing that is just because, like, the way my hand is constructed, I want to be curving out over the course of the first 3 or 4 turns. And holding up Explosives, I don't think allows me to do that. I'm going to lead on my Yawgmoth here and pass the turn. I could Thoughtseize, but I don't want to do that into open mana with the potential of a Veil of Summer right now. So if they do have a Wrenn and 6, they'll be able to cast that out. But I am, I'm not just going to run my Thoughtseize into that right now. I'll wait a turn or 2. Like, I want to go turn 1 drop, 2 drop. If we can 3 drop our Evo, we'll do that. If we can't, I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to cast this Thoughtseize. Mountain, Forest, Plains. So this might be 5 colors, so they might actually have Leyline in the list just based upon them revealing this. So we might change our sideboard strategy for game 3. Foothills. Sure. Okay. Feels like a Wrenn and 6. Steam Vents. There it is. Feel free to shoot down my Yawgmoth. Nope. Unfortunate. Okay, so we drew another land. So if I'm attacking into Wrenn and 6, it's going to take me 2 turns of combat to get rid of it. And by the time I do, they'll have the lands that they need and that they want. So I'm just going to ignore this Wrenn and 6, to be honest with you. I'm just going to start attacking at them, and I might use the Grist to get rid of it. So we're just going to start pressuring their life total. You may or may not agree with this, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Like, sometimes we just autopilot when we see a Planeswalker on the other side of the battlefield and just start attacking into it just because we feel like that's what we're supposed to do. But I find that in this matchup, they do deal a lot of damage to themselves off their lands. And if you can pressure that early, sometimes you can get those last few points of damage in when it matters. They have 7 cards in hand, doesn't feel great. So because they're leaving everything untapped, okay, that's not bad. That is not bad. So I get 2 options here. I can go Grist, which I think I might do this turn, and then next turn Evo, or leave up the Engineered Explosives, I mean. So let's start with an attack and see what they do. Attack them. Okay, and they're bolting. Interesting. Mountain, forest, plains. Okay, from here, I'm going to get my swamp and I'm going to get my grist down. Unless they have something like a mana leak, they're not going to be able to counter this. Okay, there's our grist. Binding. Okay, there goes the grist. Okay, so that's unfortunate. Might be in a little bit of trouble here. We'll see if they go for the creativity this turn or not. Even if they do, if they get 1 Archon, we'll be able to deal with it because we can Evo our wolf and get another grist and kill it. Okay, I expected that. 2, 3. Teferi. Okay, sure. That's actually good for us. If they don't hit their land drop, we'll see what they do here. I have to imagine they have a land with the Wrenn and 6. Okay, so that was actually a good draw. So what we're going to do here is we're going to lead on Geist. We're going to swing at them for 3, put them down to 8. It's interesting that they're using this opportunity to block. So now I can actually just fire off this Thoughtseize without much of an issue, so I think I'm going to take this opportunity and do that. Binding, binding, iteration. Okay, I think we take the iteration here. Yeah, a little unfortunate I didn't bring in Force of Vigor here. That would have been nice. They bring another land back, they'll be able to get their guy again. Okay, they have 5 cards in hand. Okay, I'm going to lead on a fetch, and I'm going to get my Dryad Arbor here. And I'm going to be evoing away this Geist. We're going to get ourselves a Yawg, and this represents drawing 3 cards. So I'm going to take that opportunity. Okay, I actually think I'm going to play out the EE right now too. Just to play around to creativity, because the Yawg is likely going to go away end of turn. Binding, sure. Targeting Yawg. We're going to draw a couple cards. Okay, we like that. We're going to draw 1 more here. Okay. Yeah, you got my Yawgmoth. Okay, so they don't fire off the other binding. Okay, Teferi up to 3. We will be attacking into that most likely. And we'll fetch here. Okay, Court of Calling, not terrible. Alright, so I'm going to start with an attack into Teferi. Ending on 1. Okay, that's fine. We'll go Wall of Roots. We'll go another Young Wolf here. Once again, leaving up Engineered Explosives, depending on what they're doing. Suppose if they have an Archon, they're almost at a point where they can just hardcast it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, they'll be able to hardcast that next turn. Okay, Endurance, not bad. Not bad, not bad. A little bit of a tricky situation here. I think we lead on a Yawgmoth again here. Okay, so from here, I think I'm going to attack into this Teferi. Teferi's kind of annoying. They do have another Leyline Binding that we know about. I do realize that they can ultimate their Wrenn here. Here's the Binding. Sure. Yeah, Force of Vigor. How juicy does that look right now? This is part of the reason why we bring it in this matchup. Draw a card, drew another Forest. Okay, I don't think we get rid of our Wall of Roots just because it gives us the opportunity to leave our EE up. There's Binding number 4. Sure. Okay, and I think they're going to hit the EE here, if I had to guess. And I'm guessing there's going to be a creativity from here, which will likely be game 1. Okay, so I think there's an argument to be made that, you know, maybe I should have tried to attack down this Wrenn and 6. Okay, they're going for a 3rd. This is the Rubbins. Okay, my hand is on the concede button, and we will... I guess I should have waited to see... Okay, 3 Archons there. I get to see their whole deck. They do have Spell Pierce, Veil of Summer. Okay, Spell Pierce and Veil of Summer are the biggest cards to be aware of. Alright, so I'm going to change my sideboard strategy for game 3. I'm going to be getting rid of these Thoughtseizes. I'm going to be bringing Force of Vigors. And I'll Probably bring in a Shieldred as well, just because it's a big threat that we can hit them with. Besides that, I think that's all we're going to change here. We just need to be aware of what they're doing with those spell pierces with our evos, but outside of that, I think this looks good. All right, game 3, Redemption. Let's go. We're on the play. Opening 7 is fine. We'll keep this. A little bit weak, but we can go turn 3 Grist into turn 4 Yawgmoth, which I like. Our opponent, 7 card hand. We also have the Beseiju to be able to hit down a Binding, potentially. They mulligan to 6. And they keep their 6 card hand. These Wrenn and 6 decks too, like their ability to recoup card advantage is so high that like mulliganing, not that big of a deal because you can keep a 2-lander with a Wrenn and 6 and then just go crazy from there. All right, 2-drop would have been best case scenario. So for us, I think we're gonna swing it. Unfortunate we don't have a 2-drop here. Might be telegraphing a little bit here that we have an Evo as well because we didn't have a 2-drop, but not too much we can do about that. There's the Garden, sure. Okay, here comes Wrenn and 6, 3 games in a row. This will give us the opportunity for our Evo though, which I like. And this time I think we will take the opportunity to get rid of this Wrenn and 6. Or maybe I don't, maybe I don't. No, I think I will. All right, another Verdant. No, I don't think I can get rid of this Wrenn and 6. I think we need our Wolf in play. So I think I'm gonna attack into the Wrenn and 6 this game, just because things got out of control last game. We'll fetch, and we're gonna get ourselves a Grist from here. Grist, plus our Grist, and we'll pass the turn. Yawg is in the graveyard. So if they minus Wrenn here to kill an insect token, they're gonna leave Wrenn and 6 open to an attack from the Young Wolf, which means that they would have to kill the Young Wolf to be able to prevent that, or they have to play out a creature to prevent it. So I don't know that they're going to do that necessarily. I think it puts them in a tough spot. Best case scenario for them is they minus and just like bolt the Young Wolf. Okay, there's the minus. We'll see if they have the bolt. There it is. Okay, so that's, as I said, best case scenario. They fetch. Xander's Lounge, so now they have their mana up for a Leyline Binding, which is coming down. All right, so this is a pretty perfect sequence for them right here. Okay, another Grist, actually not bad. So I'm gonna play out the Catacombs. So this gives me some play here. So we can play around a singleton Archon here. Let's see if they wait. Well, I guess if they have an Archon, they can plus. Yeah, they can do that, which is annoying. There's the Dwarven Mine. Okay, and they don't go for it, which is nice. All right, Force of Vigor is actually a really good draw. So play out our Peatland, play out our Grist, get our Yawg into play. And we do have our Dryad Arbor up if we want it. We also have this Beseiju up if we want it. Okay, no binding on our Yawg there, which is interesting. Okay, get themselves a land out of the graveyard, Wooded Foothills. They have 5 cards in hand. If they're just passing here, we're pretty happy with that. So they could have something like a Veil of Summer in their hand, which they could try to use and attempt to leverage. All right, there's a Binding. They take our other Grist. Sure. So that we can deal with. They have 4 cards. I'm going to continue to leave this Verdant up to fetch if I need it. Land, not bad. Alright, so we're going to start by dumping one of these Bindings. I'm going to plus our Grist. Now I'm going to eat this Dwarf. We'll see if they have a Veil of Summer here. Okay, that's actually a really good draw. And from here, I'm going to attack into this Wrenn and 6, kill it, get rid of it, be gone. And now we have Court of Calling up for something like a Patra. So if they do try to get something into play, we'll be able to go a little crazy. Okay, continuing to be patient here. We're going to plus our Grist. We're really close to lethal at this point. I'm going to start with the Blood Artist here. Just going to attack with Yawg here. This allows me to play around Spell Pierce. And we will pass the turn from here. Stomping Ground tap. Sure. Okay, from here I'm going to fetch. I'm going to get my Dryad Arbor now. We're going to get this into play. I think we're pretty close to just winning. And that might even just do it from here. Okay. I'm going to leave back the requisite mana to be able to chord here, so we'll just swing for 4. And now they're really on their back foot. They really don't have much to do from this point. We might even just have lethal in play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we have lethal in play at this point. I foresee a scoop from Thurn. Still going for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I guess the way we could potentially lose this is if it's like Veil of Summer into something. But even then, I think we'll still have them beat. Creativity on Yawg. I'll respond. I'm going to chord for 2. We're going to get our Patra. I'd like to sacrifice, save targets, yield. I should have sacrificed my Yawgmoth first. That was a mistake. I don't know why I did it in that fashion. Kind of knew about the Veil of Summer. I was anticipating that. Yes, they're dead here. They are communicating to me that they don't have anything beyond this Veil of Summer, so they are not going to be surviving. Okay, we can chord again if we want to. They're not scooping, so we're going to do it. We're going to have a little fun. We'll get a Haywire Mate for the heck of it. Opponent's down to 3, down to 2, and they are going to be dead. That'll do it. That will do it. GG. All right, redemption. We're 1-0. All right, everybody, we are back. Match 2, Modern League with Ryan's RCQ list. We are playing against gonzacap, and we are going to be on the draw. On the draw with a suspect 7. Oh, this hand is so close. Our first hand in our first game was so close. This hand is also very close. So, once again, it's a situation where we need our bird to survive, we need our Dryad Arbor to survive, or pull a land in the first couple of turns. Being on the draw, oh, this is super risky. Am I disciplined, am I not? That is the question. This is so close. So close. On the draw, unknown opponent, gonzacap. My gut is telling me to ship this. I'm going to ship it. Okay, and this is slow, but I think it's better. We're going to keep it, and I'm going to send back one of the Yawgs. So we get punished if there's a turn 1 Ragavan, but otherwise I think this is just a better hand. We'll see. Okay, so opponent Catacombs, fetch, Blood Crypt, and Thoughtseize. And I'm guessing they take the Geist here probably, just because we don't have any plays for the first 3 turns otherwise. So it feels like scam, and I think with our other hand, I mean, they're probably going to have some form of removal, whether it's Bolts, Terminate, Kolaghan's Command, something along those lines. So I don't know that our birds / Dryad Arbor would necessarily have survived. Fury is obviously also a card they run in that deck. Interesting they took the Grist there. Hitting a 1-drop here would be ideal. Let's see if we can do it. Okay, we got our 1-drop. And I think I'm actually going to fetch basic here and play out our Ignoble with the basic. I just want to set up my mana just in case there's a Blood Moon coming down at some point. Having basic super important. Okay, turn 2 Verdant Catacombs. Does our Hierarch die? I'm guessing the answer is yes. Fetch, basic Swamp, another Thoughtseize. Getting rid of the Yawgmoth now, I would imagine. Okay, the Geist. And there's a Bolt. Okay, so we got nothing nothing much going on here. They got 3 cards in hand. They're not really doing much either, though. The Swamp to me says Blood Moon is a possibility. The fact that they actively fetched for a basic. Drawing into a Yawg, not great there. Once again, I'm going to play out the basic just in case a Blood Moon comes down. Verdant Catacombs, 2 mana, Kroxa. Alright, and we will be discarding a Yawgmoth here. You don't really see Kroxa in scam lists too much these days. So this is interesting. And if they have a scam effect, that's going to be pretty brutal for us. They do not. So they've discarded pretty much everything. A mold of 6, pretty brutal against what they're doing. I don't know. Maybe we would have been better off keeping the other hand. It's hard to say. I'm not going to fetch here. Play out our Blooming Marsh. We do have to dodge them hitting another land drop. So fingers crossed they do not. If they hit the land drop, they'll be able to play out their Kroxa. And that will take us off of being able to play Yawgmoth next turn. And probably just be game over at that point. Okay, no Kroxa. Bolt, sure. Yield through the end step. And let's go to our draw step. Best draw from here is probably like a Grist, I would imagine. They have 2 cards in hand. Both of us pretty much just playing off the top at this point. The race to 4 land first. Alright, another bird. And they hesitated draw step there. Not sure why. Play out the bird, hope it survives. It does not. That's their 3rd lightning bolt in a row. Yeah, so Dryad Arbor and Birds of Paradise in our opening hand were definitely not surviving. 4th land? No 4th land. Can we draw 4th land? Or a Grist? And we drew a Grist. Okay, I'll take that. I'm going to fetch a basic Swamp, and we'll get our Grist into play. And I like this. This I can work with. There goes our land there that we just milled. But now we got a little bit of value here. 2, 3, 4, 5. See if they pull their 4th land at some point. There it is, but that is a Boseiju, so they cannot Kroxa. Tarmogoyf, sure. That is fine by me. Okay, if we draw a land here, we're going to pull ahead. As long as they don't discard this Yawgmoth. That's fine. 4 bolts. They've seen all 4 lightning bolts. Land. Untapped land. They don't have any cards in their hands, so I'm not sure why they're hesitating here. So this is like a Jund deck. They don't have Gigantha. Alright, Evo not really what we're looking for. So I can plus Grist. We dumped an Endurance. Endurance would have been decent. So what I can do is I can Evo this insect and get myself a Geist. But I think to play around the Kroxa hitting the battlefield, I think I'm actually just going to... Is that right? Yeah, I think I'm just going to pass with this in hand. Just because I feel like Yawg is the way we get ourselves out of this situation. Okay. Block with the insect here. And this is a big reason why in these sorts of matchups we board out Eldritch Evolutions. Okay, so here comes the Kroxa. It's just... You have such limited resources, Evo's value just goes down so much. You just don't have a lot to utilize it on, as you saw in this situation. Okay, Kroxa, sure. We'll discard this Evo. Okay. We still need to pull land here. Undying Creature would also work, temporarily at least. Court of Calling. So that buys us a turn. We'll see if this is good enough. Actually, this doesn't really buy us a turn because we're just gonna... Ugh. Okay. Yeah, we've milled over 2 lands with this Grist here, which is pretty brutal. As any 1 land over the last like 3 or 4 turns would have been excellent. So from here, we're gonna discard the Cord, sure. And I think it's pretty obvious what we have in our hand at this point. The fact that we keep discarding these tutors, these like decent cards. We'll block the Kroxa here. If our opponent plays out another threat, we'll be in big trouble too. Alright, we're in business. There it is. There it is. Alright, don't die now. We worked really hard to get you into play. Now we need you to survive. Okay, so from here our Grist is going to die. We're not going to try to save it. And then we need to just start preserving our life total from there. Grist, sure. We'll take a hit for 3. We'll let this happen. Okay, they have 2 cards in hand. And now we need to dodge spot removal on this Yawgmoth. They don't have spot removal though, because if they did, they would have targeted the Yawg pre-combat, because it would have made us sacrifice this insect. So, quite telling what they did and didn't have. Okay, so from here, a little tricky. Do I attack with the insect, sack it, minus the Kroxa, I think that's what I'm going to do here. I think I'm going to lead with attacks. I really just want to find another creature. Even like a fetch land gets me another creature. And I think we're going to minus on Kroxa here. Okay, Wall of Roots, not bad. So we'll gain life, we'll go up to 15. And then what we'll probably do is block the Kroxa minus the Tarmogoyf. And then we can start proliferating from there and just dumping these creatures down. Okay, we'll take a hit here. And I'll block. No, we're going to switch our blocks up. Block. I just need to make sure this Tarmogoyf isn't going to grow any bigger. Okay, and that's that's a good one if it's still in our hand by the time we get to our turn. 1, 2, 3. Okay, Liliana, sure. I might try to preserve that. They're going to have me sacrifice a creature. And with them doing that... Oh! What just... Oh no. Oh no. I can't undo that. Oh no. Alright, we're losing our Yawgmoth here due to a misclick. Oh my gosh. That is so brutal. Okay. Alright. Yeah. So I think we're losing this one now. That's brutal. Alright, so from here, I guess the question is, what do I do? I think we're just priced into playing out both of our creatures. And then I have to leave this Geist back. I can't attack him with it. That is so brutal. This would have been game over here if I didn't do that misclick. Oh, that is so brutal. A very disappointing turn of events. So Kroxa is going to keep chipping away at my life total here. Attacks, we're going to go down to 8. And I'm just going to block the Kroxa. We need a board presence here. Patron gives me a board presence. As long as they can't kill it, it's going to be important for us. They've used all their lightning bolts. They're not going to be able to burn us out, I don't think, from where they are. Uptick, sure. Discard a Blackleaf Cliffs. 2 cards left in hand. Okay, Yawgmoth, not terrible. So from here, what I can do is I can attack with both my creatures. I can kill the Liliana, hit them for 2. That will put me down to 1. Okay, we're still going to try to win this game here. I can also just put them down to 3. Maybe that's the move. Just forget about Liliana and just put them down to 3. And just hope I don't die. Alright, fingers crossed. If they have something like a Wrenn and 6, that will be lethal. If they can kill this Patron, we'll just die as well. Okay, yeah, we're dead. Okay, brutal misclick. Cost us the game there. Okay, game 2. I think I'm going to bring in Shieldred. I'm going to bring in these Endurances. I'm definitely bringing in Veil of Summer. I think that might be it. I don't think we want to do too much. I'm going to board out several of these Evos. I think we're going to board out Innkeeper. I don't think this matchup is about that necessarily, especially if they have Wrenn and 6 in their deck. I think there's a chance they might have like Pithing Needle post sideboard, so I'm debating whether or not I want this Might, but I think I'm going to hold off on that. And then on the play, definitely a bird too. I might board out 2 birds. 2 birds and bring back an Innkeeper. Or a Fatal Push. I might actually bring in the Fatal Push just in case they have Dalti Voidwalkers. So we're going to go with this. Okay. Yeah, we can't keep this. Not how you want things to go when you're playing against a discard deck. And this hand is fine, but it's pretty weak if they have a turn 1 discard spell into some form of removal. Like, we don't really do much from there, but I think we have to keep this, unfortunately. So we're going to bottom this Dryad Arbor and then play out our Blooming Marsh. We'll keep Dryad Arbor, done. Blooming Marsh, and pass the turn. Yeah, I think there's a very small chance that they don't have discard here. The only hope we have in this instance is they kind of put us on like a Veil of Summer, in which case we'll get lucky. Okay, so we got the answer to that. So we're okay with that. Wasn't expecting Cage, but I don't think that that's that big a deal. Okay, second Blooming Marsh, we'll save ourselves some life here. We'll play out our Wall of Roots, pass the turn, I just have to be cognizant of the fact that that also stops our undying creatures. You don't really see cage much these days, so just being aware, very important. This is going to be a Thoughtseize, Inquisition. I mean, take either one, doesn't matter. Best draw from here, probably a Grist. Yawg would be fine as well. I'll take either or. If they have like a Bolt in hand, yeah, the Chord's probably the right play. They got their wonky mana base here. Alright, Yawgmoth, not bad. So, of note, Besage will cost 1 less to activate with Patron in play. So I'm going to take a point of damage casting out this Yawgmoth as well. Conversely, what I could do is I could cast it with the Wall of Roots and then also draw a card, but I think I'm just going to take the 1. I do want to build out my board state, and I also don't want to make my Wall of Roots susceptible to Lightning Bolt. So what I might be doing is I might be attacking with Hepatra and putting a counter on the wall to make a token. Tarmogoyf, sure. Good old Tarmogoyf. I'm not going to hit the cage yet. They're short on mana. They don't have any red mana, so I don't want to open myself up to that. This is a really good draw. So the question here is, do I Grist Besage minus the Grist? I don't think so. I think I'm going to try to keep them off of land as long as I can here. Just because they can't really build out their board plan until they draw another land. There goes a Yawgmoth. Kind of stinks a little bit. We would have liked that. But we're just going to hold the team back for now. They want to swing with this Goyf. That's fine. Sure. We will gladly chump block that. And then see what they got from here. Like, I have to imagine they have another 2-drop or a way to kill the Hepatra. And if they don't, that attack doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Okay, Endurance, not a bad draw. Start with some attacks. Maybe a Fatal Push for Hepatra. Yeah, okay, so that makes sense. Hit for 1, plus this Grist, and then we'll pass the turn. So we can flash in our Endurance and block this Goyf, and we'll be able to kill it. It will be a 2-3 at that point. It doesn't look like we're going to get the opportunity to, though. So we're going to shuffle our graveyard back. So, the whiff, whole lot of nothing. Another Forest. Once again, nice mana. Okay, so I think I'm just going to keep ticking up this Grist. I don't think I really care too much. I'm just going to keep building this thing up. Alright, Goyf is a 3-4. Not a big deal. Oh, I should have played out the Yawgmoth. I don't know why I didn't do that. I'm zoning out over here. Feel free to attack. Nothing. Okay. I'm going to draw with this Pete land here. Another Wall of Roots. Sure. Okay, so they are representing an Endurance on their side of the battlefield. So I don't think I'm going to be attacking into that. Play out a Geist. And we will still have our... maybe what I do here is kill the Goyf and then just swing in with the Endurance. I think that might be the play. Let's do that, just to keep pressuring their life total. Okay, Fatal Push, sure. They're not really getting ahead playing that game though, so I think I'm okay with that. Yeah, so if we're getting punished for not playing out our Yawgmoth that one turn, that was so dumb. I don't know why I didn't do that. This is a match of mistakes. But they're almost dead at this point. Alright, so got them back. We'll plus, play out our Yawgmoth, and we're going to swing for a bunch. We'll hit for 4, and then we're pretty close to lethal next turn. 4, 5, 6. We will have lethal next turn if we decide to minus our Grist, which I might do. We'll see. I don't know if I need to do, but I might do. Okay, they scoop. Yeah, them not finding a red mana was what killed them there. And we drew a Chord next turn, so we would have been able to get ourselves a Yawg from there. Okay, so having seen the cage, Engineering Explosives is also a card to consider. I didn't see any Wrenn and 6, but it would hit Tarmogoyf, hit Wrenn and 6, hit Kroxa, hit Dauthi. Like, that might be worthwhile. It's a little slow, though, on the draw. I think I'm just going to bring the Might in and shave another bird. Like, I expect... We saw the cage, and actually, I expect Needle as well. We didn't see any Ragavans either. Maybe I shave a wolf and keep a bird. Bird seems medium. Maybe a go for the throat. Like generally against these decks, 1-for-1ing is not really where you want to be. It's just my big concern is just Dalty Voidwalker. Maybe I'll bring in 1 Engineered Explosives. We'll go like this. Be nice to keep a 7-card hand. This is medium, but I think we can keep this. Once again, Dryad Arbor's been in all of our openers so far. That's pretty brutal. With this hand, at least. See what our opponent does here. Yeah, they're just playing like old school Jund. They got 4 cards in hand. They're going to hit one of these Geists, I would imagine. Okay. Yeah, having all these lands in our hand, not really where we want to be. This Ignoble is going to get bolted down. Okay, Ignoble's on the battlefield. We'll pass the turn. Bolt, as expected. They have 3 cards in hand. Their mana's good this game. Better than last game. Verdant, we don't want any more lands. Deck, stop doing this to us. Alright, play out the Geist. They know about this. We'll swing in for 2. This probably will get bolted as well. And now, we don't have much of anything going here. Sure. Yeah, our card's really not as good when there's a Leyline of the Void on the battlefield, but they don't really have much going on themselves. They have 3 cards, 2 mana, 3 mana. Is this a Liliana? Seasoned Pyromancer, okay. Discard an Endurance. Okay, they wouldn't have been able to cast that. Another land. Flooding hard here. Yeah, we'll play out Verdant Catacombs, play out our Yawgmoth, and then pass the turn from here. We're going to take a hit for 3, and then if they have a removal spell, this Yawgmoth will be obsolete. Generally, this is a really favorable matchup, so it feels pretty bad being in this position right now. But, I mean, this can all turn around with just drawing a Yawgmoth, so... Okay, they'll attack for 3, sure. This feels like a Tarmogoyf, yes. 4/6. Endurance would be a really good draw right now, too. I'm going to fetch here. We'll get on 16. We'll get a Tomb tapped. Just don't want to draw that. Don't want to draw any more lands. And we drew we drew another land. Play out the peat land, pass the turn. We basically have like 1 more turn to find something, and if we don't, it's gonna be GG. Like from this position, we need to find Yawgmoth, or we need to find an Endurance, or even a Grist, just to kind of stabilize. Opponent has 2 cards in hand. We also kind of need them to miss for a turn. Verdant Catacombs. Okay, they drew a land. Another Yawgmoth, not what we're looking for. Another land, also not what we're looking for. This is brutal. Brutal. Verdant Catacombs puts us down to 8. Play out another Yawgmoth. Then I'm going to pass the turn. I'm not going to be blocking with both Yawgmoths. I'll block the Tarmogoyf. But I'm just going to leave both back. I'm not attacking just in case they do have a removal spell. Imagine they draw with this. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how many lands we drew this game, but it was way too many. Those were the 3 cards in our opener. And it's turn 6, so we've drawn 2 non-land spells over 6 turns. And they were both Yawgmoths with a Leyline on the battlefield. Alright, we'll block there. We'll go down to 6. Alright, go down to 5. They have 3 cards in hand. Alright, Grist. Grist can kind of stabilize things for us a little bit. So we're going to play out Dryad Arbor. Play out our Grist. Hopefully buys us a little bit of time here. Plus, and we mill over a Geist. Okay, so my hope from here is that the opponent attacks into the Grist, and we can buy some time here. This is one of those situations where you kind of need your opponent to mess up to be able to win. Okay, the Kolaghan's Command, making me discard a card, sure. I'll discard a Swamp. From here, now if they have a removal spell, or 2, or a Bolt, we will just lose from here. I don't think we're in a position to let our Grist die, nor do I think we're in a position where we can block with both of our creatures. But maybe we have to? Okay, they're attacking Grist, attacking me, attacking me. So yeah, maybe I have to do this. Just preserve my life total, get down to 4 just in case they have a Lightning Bolt. I'm really baffled by this Kolaghan Command play. That was strange. I feel like you probably like bring back the Endurance and to me. Just have like an extra, I guess they can't cast the Endurance, but okay, Endurance would be a great draw right now. Haywire Might, too little too late. We'll get this Leyline off the board though, but I think if they have a Bolt, which is what I'm putting them on, I think it will kind of shut us out from here. think we'll be dead. Of note, we won't be gaining the life off this might. Sacrificing is part of the ability, part of the cost. So when I sacrifice it, it's going to be exiled. We're not going to gain the 2 life. Kind of need a grist like double hit right now to save us. We're treading water as it stands. We're not getting ahead. Oh, we got a double hit. A triple hit. Wow. Wow. That was what we needed. Opponent's doing a lot of thinking. I'll play out my other forest just in case they have another Kolaghan's Command or something like that. We exiled a Yawgmoth too. Not as good in this situation because we only have 4 life and our opponent likely has a lightning bolt. Okay, we'll exile that ley line. So they did have another Kolaghan's Command, so correct to play the forest out. Once again, I feel like you're better off. So that tells me they don't have a lightning bolt. Kill one of our insects, sure. Attack me with everything. Block the Tarmogoyf, sure. And from here, we're going to be at 1. Ren 6 is going to kill me. I don't know if we have an out from here. Right on time, the Thran Physician shows up at 1 life. Yeah, I think we're just dead. I'm going to scoop it up. All right, match 3 Modern League, an unfortunate 1-1 record as it stands. We are playing against akimatt. We're going to be on the play. Let's go. Oh, another 1-lander. Oh, this is growing tiresome. Yeah, I don't think we're supposed to keep this. As like the second land, this hand is great, but I just don't know that we can afford to do that. I'm gonna mulligan. Maybe I'm just not feeling lucky tonight. I don't know what it is, but they mulligan to 6 as well. We'll keep our 6. This is really land heavy, but I think that this is fine. And we're gonna ship back, I think, the tomb. We'll go with this. So the hope here is we can stick a turn 2 bird, or a turn 1 bird. Turn 2 bird wouldn't be great. Turn 1 bird into a turn 2 grist. Opponent keeps their 6. We'll lead on our Blooming Marsh, cast out our bird, and pass the turn. Pass it on back. Let's go. Okay, Ornithopter. I like seeing that. Okay, so this is likely Hammertime. Having this beside you is pretty nice. Springleaf Drum. Opponent's going a little crazy here. Into a Sentinel. Okay. So no Cigar's Aid, so we're happy about that. Drawing into Yawg. Very good. Very, very good. So we're going to fetch basic here. We're going to save our other fetch for a black source. No, we're not, because we just milled it off our grist. Okay. I don't think tonight's my night. I don't know. I'm filming this on a Tuesday night, and it has been a long day. Cigar's Aid. Okay. Is grist going down? No attacks. Okay. Grist survives. We live to fight another day. All right. I think I like the peat land better than the verdant, playing it out. This gets us our Dryad Arbor at a later point, as long as I don't click it into play accidentally. So we'll hold that back. So I'll play out my Yawgmoth. So a little bit of a consideration here. So there's been a couple, not a couple, but I think there's a contingency of Hammertime players at this point that are actually playing Solitude. So I think it might have been correct to plus my grist first. Okay, we don't get punished for it. And our opponent scoops. Okay, that makes it easy. We're drawing into a wolf next. Yeah, we would have, as long as we got to our next turn, we were doing pretty good. Sideboarding, might. I'll bring in 1 engineered explosives. I don't love it in this matchup. It feels kind of slow to me. It's not cost effective from a mana perspective, but I think it's worth boarding in. And then the question is Magus, which I don't love. Board down on Grist, board down on Endurance. I might just shave both Endurance. Can also shave Wall of Roots. Or I could just shave both. I think I'll shave both, and I'll bring in the Magus as well. So we'll go with this. So we saw a Horizon Canopy. I don't think we saw any blue lands. So I'm not exactly sure if they're running a blue splash or not. They keep a 7. We'll keep our 7. We like this hand. We would love to draw a piece of interaction. Like a Might would be swell, but we Okay, they don't have a 0 drop, which is good for us. Grist is actually pretty good too. So we can curve out really nicely here. So turn 1 Hierarch, turn 2 Geist with a Dryad Arbor. Okay, so if they have a Cauldra here, oh, Shadow Spear. Okay, so to me that says they have Hammer in hand already. Okay, so dilemma time. So I can go Grist minus hit the Stone Forge, or I can go Windswept. I guess the question is, do I want the Grist or the Geist? I think I want the Geist. So I think we're gonna go Heath, Geist. I think I'm gonna swing for 3 here. We're gonna take a big hit on their turn, but I don't think with them having the Shadow Spear, I don't think I'm gonna be blocking. It's not gonna make that much of a difference. Might be incorrect. We'll see. Saga goes up to 2. Let's see if this is a Cauldra. It is a Cauldra. So they have the Cauldra in hand. Are they equipping it? Feel free. Nope, no equip. There's a land. And there's the Shadow Spear. Okay, so we're gonna flip-flop life totals here. Okay, this could be a lot worse though if they had a hammer. They will have a hammer next turn though. So that's actually really bad. So we do need to do something about this. Okay. I'm gonna fetch and get our Dryad Arbor here. Yeah, we're in a bit of a situation. So, start with Yawg. Sack target this Germ. Oh, why did that? What the hell just happened? I could have swore I clicked on the Geist. I don't know if I'm just super tired or what, but I could have swore I clicked on the Geist there. Okay, yeah, so that changes things. We're drawing 2 less cards. I don't know what just happened. That's really weird. All right, so there's the Force of Vigor. So we got some insurance here. Okay, so that will buy us some time for another turn or so. If they have a Blacksmith skill, it'll be kind of crappy, but 1 mana. Okay. Here comes a hammer. There's a canopy. I guess they probably draw a card with the canopy. 1, 2, 3. Paladin, sure. Okay, this is a huge attack. I will not block because it doesn't matter. And then if you have it, you have it. Force, 1, 2. And then I think we discard it's either the bird or the wall of root. I guess the bird. Okay, there it is. Oh, another hammer. Okay. Okay. So we're not dead necessarily, but we do have to find another Force of Vigor. They do draw a card off this Paladin. Okay, and then from here, Force of Vigor number 2. Pay 1 life. I'm going to target the Paladin with this second one here. Yawgmoth. Okay, we'll hit this Paladin again. Okay, yep, we're dead. We're dead. Really weird misclick there. I don't know what happened that did not... I could have swore I clicked on that Geist. I don't know what's going on tonight. Okay, game 3. We're submitting the same 60. Feels like, to me, it always feels like such a big difference having 3 Force of Vigor as opposed to having 2. Knowing that the third one's in the deck is always feels, I don't know. This hand's sketchy. Why am I having to make so many decisions? Why? Okay, I'm gonna mulligan this. Okay, this is not great, but I think we'll keep it. Hapatra is actually really strong in this matchup, so that alone might be able to kind of hold down the fort. And I think we're gonna ship the Verdant. Yeah. No, I think I might actually get rid of the Peatland. No, because that represents an extra card potentially for the Force of Vigor. Maybe I don't need the Twilight Mirror, but no, I'll probably get rid of the Verdant. Okay, play out our Marsh, pass the turn. Hoping they don't have like a God draw. Also hoping we can draw into a green card on our next turn. All right, Ornithopter. This feels like, is this a Sigarda's Age? Drum. Do they have it all? Okay, leave it at that. Good. No Sigarda's Aid. Okay, Innkeeper, good draw. So, got 2 options here. I can go Innkeeper and accelerate into a Yawg next turn. Or I could go Hapatra and then Yawg in 2 turns. I think I go Innkeeper here. Which might mean we wind up discarding our Hapatra. I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but that is a possibility. I really want our Hapatra to stick around. Okay. Ornithopter number 2. Opponent has 4 cards in hand. 1, 2. Paladin. Sure. So our opponent did not play out. So that's really good. Grist represents a card we can pitch here. Alright, so I'm going to leave the Yawg here. We'll gain a life. And now I'm really tempted to dump down. I think I'm going to do this upkeep. We're going to hit Ornithopter and Drum. And I'm trying to take them off a critical mass of artifacts here. Okay, this feels like a blacksmith skill. Skill targeting the drum. Okay. Hammer, sure. They draw a card. Land. If this is another hammer, we're probably just dead. 10. Okay, we're taking a hit for 10. Okay, Geist. So I can Geist minus hit this Paladin, and if I draw land, I can just go crazy. And then if I don't, a little risky here not getting this Hapatra into play. Not a land. Not a land, not a land. I think we have to get rid of this Paladin though. Okay, there's our land. That is what we wanted. Get a basic forest here. Play our Hapatra. And then I'm going to pass the turn from here. So if they want to attack in with this Ornithopter, it's just a suicide mission at this point, unless they have a Shadow Spear. But they need an extra mana to be able to equip a Shadow Spear here. Okay, they're attacking. Okay, so that's actually a really good draw. Okay, and I'm not going to kill this Ornithopter here because this actually represents a ton of life that I can drain them with a Blood Artist. So as long as we survive this turn, which I think we are, because they are past their combat phase, we should have the win. Okay, Blooming Marsh doesn't do anything. They had our Wall of Roots, Yawgmoth, Cord for 2, Blood Artist, and this represents lethal. So let's see if our opponent scoops from here. You're going to make a lot of snakes, a lot of them. So every time we loop through this sequence, we will get an additional snake. Opponent says good games to akimatt, and we are 2-1. All right, match 4, Modern League, currently 2-1. We're on our way back on the upswing here. Playing against Marvel Man 1, 2, 3. We are on the play. Let's see if we can draw more than one land and a non-Dryad Arbor opening hand. All right. The triple Yawgmoth hand. This hurts my head. Why? The triple Yawgmoth opener on the play. I mean, this hand's got great long game if we get there. Pretty bad if we draw a 4th Yawgmoth. Completely invalidates our Evo. This is sketchy. So turn 2 Geist, then we got 1, 2, we got 2 draw steps to find a land. I mean, this is kind of like a... I think I'm going to mulligan this. I don't like it. Alright. I don't like this either. What is up with these hands? Our opponent keeps a 7. I'm going to mulligan down to 5. Alright, we'll keep this 5. This is much better. And then I think I'm going to get rid of Yawgmoth and Swamp. We'll go with this. Brutal with the mulligans here. Ryan, what's up with your list? Alright. Get our ignoble onto the battlefield and we will pass the turn. Okay. If we can get a turn 2 Grist down, all will be okay. I hope. They are fetching. Hopefully this is a Ragavan and not a removal spell. Breeding Pool. Okay. Likely not a removal spell. Okay. Footfalls. So we're playing against Rhinos here. They have 6 cards in hand. Okay, so turn 2 here I can go Wall of Roots into Geist. Or I can just get my Grist down. I don't know how good Grist is on this board. I think we build out our board state here a little bit more. So I'm going to get Wall of Roots down and I'll get my Geist down. We'll start pressuring their life total a little bit. Then next turn we'll get Grist down. And then go from there. Alright, Footfalls. Alright, so they're representing a Fire Ice. I feel like they always have Fire Ice in this matchup. I'm calling it before I see it, but that's what I feel. Okay, they don't. Okay, so that's good. We're going to lead with an attack for 3. Put them down to 11. They'll go down to 10 with this foothills. They're fetching right now. Okay, so this is likely a Brazen Borrower. Okay, not a Brazen Borrower. So this is actually a Leyline Binding. So they're playing 5 color Rhinos here. And this actually works out. Oh, they do have the Fire Ice. Strange sequencing with that, I guess. That kind of makes sense. So we won't get our damage through. But, I mean, they still took 3 damage off the fetch, so they didn't really gain any ground on us there. Then we're going to play out our Grist and Uptick. And we mill over a Yawgmoth. Would have liked that one. See if we can pull another Yawg off the top. They seem to be coming in multiples this evening. Footfalls and Exiles on 2, and they don't have a turn 3 here, so this is good. We're biding ourselves some time. They're pausing for a moment, so suggesting another Fire Ice. And we've got another Grist. So we'll lead with an attack here. It feels like Fire Ice, Leyline Binding. Okay, not upticking the Grist there. A little unfortunate. They might take the Geist, and they do. We'll go down to 10. Okay, I'm going to uptick and pass the turn. So we can deal with 1 Rhino. We can minus the Grist, kill a Rhino, play our other Grist, minus, kill another Rhino. Okay, so they're passing. Okay, pretty clearly demonstrating that they have a violent outburst here. Alright, moving back to our turn. Beseiju. Okay, so Beseiju frees up our Geist there. So I can hit them for 4. They're going to have so many Rhinos next turn, though. They'll have 4 Rhinos, 4 4/4s. So I'm not exactly sure how we're winning from this spot, but... Plus my Grist, pass the turn. I mean, maybe the play is to attack in with an Insect and then like try to bait out the Rhinos and then minus the Grist from there. Kill one of them. We shall see what they do from here. Attack Grist, attack Grist. Okay, I think we let this happen. To Ferry, sure. Bounce one of our tokens, sure. And we're going to Beseiju this Binding here and now. We don't really have any other use for it at this point, so I think this is fine. Moving back to our turn. Overgrown Tomb. Not sure that's going to do it. You know, we are in... This is dire straits, dire times. We'll plus our Grist from here. Like, killing a Rhino, I don't think that really accomplishes anything at this point. So, I think we just have to pull a Yawg and get lucky from that point. Us having the Grist kind of... It makes it so they have to attack with like 3 of the Rhinos probably into this Grist. Or they can just say forget it and just attack me with everybody. 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. So I can block. Yeah, I don't think we really care. I think they're representing more Rhinos or potentially even a Fury at this point too. So I'm just near our board state to be as wide as possible for a Yawgmoth potentially. Or a Chord of Calling. Okay. Discard a Fire Ice. Okay, so there goes pretty much my entire board. All that hard work for nothing. Endurance. Main deck Endurance. Kind of weird. Alright, so we don't have a whole lot of anything going on here. And I don't think we actually have an out to win at this point. We did previously, we don't anymore. Verdant Catacombs. I will play that out and I will concede the game. Alright, game 2. We will bring in our Thoughtseizes. We're going to bring in our Haywire Might. I'm going to bring in Shieldred, Engineered Explosives. In terms of boarding out, we're going to get rid of both of our Endurances. Probably 2 Grist. Definitely boarding out some birds as well. Let me see here. I don't love Evo just because they do play Force of Vigor, but I think we might need to play it. On the play, I wonder if there's also a consideration for... Oh, they play Force of Negation, I meant to say. I wonder if there's a consideration for our own Force of Vigor. Probably not. I think it's just, it might be a little bit too narrow. Young Wolf's pretty bad too. Maybe we leave a bird in. You could even see us cutting 2 Young Wolves. Just feels pretty weak. Maybe bring back another Grist. Go with this. We'll try this. Okay, this is fine. This is nothing too fancy, but it curves. We have an answer to their Rhinos. Mana. It's lacking business, but hopefully we can stall long enough where we can do something. They keep their 7. They didn't even curve out last game into a turn 3 Rhino. They had a tap land on turn 3, and we still got destroyed. Having Yawgmoth is pretty big deal in this matchup. Alright, they're fetching, so they have a removal spell for this Hierarch, unfortunately. Dead Gon kills our Hierarch. Moving back to our turn. Beseiju, not terrible. I'm going to play out this Verdant, and I think I fetch Shock here. So I can fetch Shock or just play out this Wall of Roots. I still think I have to likely taking damage off this, so we're gonna do that right now. I kind of want to leave this Wall of Roots on 5 if I can. Yeah, I think we're gonna go down to 17. Yes. I actually think I'm gonna start attacking first. This opens up lines with Evo as well if I draw into one, so okay. Of course the Fire Ice they always have. Nope, no Fire Ice. Okay. We'll leave with an attack here. There it is. And then I'm going to play out my Verdant here, play out our Wall of Roots, and then pass the turn from here. They're at 15, we're at 16. Land number 3. So they didn't do anything, which plays into our Engineered Explosives a little bit. So I'm going to lead on a Hierarch. I wonder if I just attack into Rhinos here. Like hit for 4, put them down to 11. And like if they kill our Geist, we're okay with that? Do I want to make that trade? Or do I just drop this Evo right now? Or Engineered Explosives? And then hit them for 4? No, I think I'm going to bait the attack, because I don't know that they're going to beat us with just one Rhino. It gives us so much time. Okay, they're fetching. So they're going to be casting a Violent Outburst here. Okay, there it is. As expected. Trade with one of these Rhinos. What is this? Brotherhood's End? Good to know about. Not sure if we're going to get to a point where that matters, but good to know about. Okay, so they're down a Rhino. I wonder if I actually wait. I think I wait a turn for this this Evo, or this I keep calling it Evo, Engineered Explosives. Blooded Strand, sure. If they attack, I'll block. Okay, I'm going to fetch some lands here. I'm going to get my Swamp. Grist, not terrible. I'll play out my Grist. So I can minus Grist, kill the Rhino, play out Explosives, and then just keep that up if I want to. I think I'm just gonna plus the Grist, and then I'll play out the Explosives. And there's a Force of Negation, exiling Force of Negation, sure. Okay. Alright, so this might be it. This might be it. Okay. Alright, we're still alive. Somewhat surprised. Okay, I will be blocking here. Okay. We'll see if our Wall of Roots dies from here. They fetch. Another basic. Another land, feels like a Fury. Okay, the hits keep coming. So 1, 1, 1, 1. Ones across the board. Sure. Okay, we're gonna fetch our Dryad Arbor from here. The reason we're getting Dryad Arbor is because it gives us an out, gives us a blocker. If we draw like an Undying creature, which we did not, we're at 14. If they have something like another Fury, we just lose. So I can minus here, kill the Rhino, play out the Hepatra, use it as a blocker, and then just keep my Grist alive. It feels kind of risky though, but I feel like we gotta take chances at this point. I don't really like any of my lines in that situation, but I don't think, like I think Grist is my best chance of winning probably at this point, as the board state stands. Fury, sure. Could also just let this happen, but I don't think I'm getting anywhere. It's just too much risk for them to have a removal spell on that. I suppose if they have another creature too, I'm pretty screwed. Land. Okay. Grist survives. Can I draw a Yawgmoth? Yawgmoth would be lovely. Wall of Roots. Pass the turn. They fetch. Play another land. Okay. I like that. Nothing else. Stop there. Okay. Cycle. Okay. Footfalls in Exile. We're okay with that. So we got some time here. Attack with Fury, we'll block that. Gladly. Okay, Yawgmoth. We play that card, right? Another Grist. Another Grist, not a Yawgmoth. Alright, plus. Okay, that was nice. We're working our way up to a Grist Ultimate here. We got 7 creatures in the graveyard. So they're at 9. We're like 1 turn off of that. Okay, Footfalls. If we win this game, it would be very, very lucky of us. They're going to attack, we're going to block. Paying costs, another Footfalls. Okay, so they have 1 Footfalls left in the deck. Okay, drawing a fetch land doesn't really do anything. Plus our Grist, play our land, combat. So their best draw from here is probably like either another Fury or like if they pull an Endurance, that would be pretty brutal. Like if I minus my Grist and ultimate it, that would be pretty terrible. They have 1 card in hand. No attack. Okay, draw into an Explosives. I think I just go for it and hope they don't have Endurance. We'll see if they have it. Okay, we got there. Game 3. Game 3. Wonder if these removal spells are worth it. Wonder if Magus is worth it. Probably not. Maybe game 3 I just bring in like removal spells. I'm not getting ahead with that. That's so bad. Board out a bird. I would love to draw into some Thoughtseizes here too. Bird and a Chord of Calling. Chord is so slow. Shave a Grist. Or shave a Geist, bring in a Grist. I really don't like this game plan, but I don't know what else we can do. Just try to buy ourselves some time. Whew. Alright, let's go. Game 3. Can we beat our worst matchup? Okay. I don't hate this hand. This has got some stuff. We'll keep this. Turn 1, Foothills, fetch, Stomping Ground, untapped, Footfalls. Got it. Alright, turn 1, I think we're going to lead on our... I think I just lead basic Forest here and play out our Hierarch. And then turn 2, we'll Thoughtseize. Hopefully buy ourselves some time. We'll see if they have a removal spell for this Hierarch. Alright, Hadawara. 1, 2, Fire Ice. Okay, down to 19. They have 4 cards in hand. Wall of Roots. That's a little off curve here. If we still had our Hierarch, that would be great, but we do not. Thoughtseize. Ugh. Ugh. So bad. Alright, we'll take a Shardless. So best draw from here, I mean, we've got 2 EEs in the deck, so that's kind of what we're looking for. There's their Footfalls. Sure. We'll be able to slow this down a little bit, so they'll have like 1 4/4 that they're attacking in with. We know about 1 card in their hand. We know about another fetch land that they have. Geist is playing out Geist better than the alternatives. So the Blood Artist can gain me some life. I wonder if we go wall into Geist, wall into Blood Artist, and then go for the throat, Beseiju. Definitely playing that out. Okay, I think I'm going wall into Geist here and passing the turn. Not super confident about this. I don't think we've seen a Yawgmoth in all 3 games. I don't think we've actually had one in play. Okay, so I'm actually just gonna... I know this might seem like a weird play. I'm gonna block the Shardless Agent here because it represents extra life for me with this Blood Artist. Play a Flooded Strand. I think we knew about that. They have 2 cards left in hand. Another Wall of Roots. So we go Wall of Roots into Blood Artist. 1, 2. The only problem with these Wall of Roots is that they... Like, I want to have... I guess I can play out this Beseiju. Maybe that's how I do this. Kind of wanted to hold on to that, but I think this is what I have to do here. Okay, we'll go Wall of Roots. Oh no, did I tap? I tapped that wrong. Oh no, I'm such an idiot. Oh, I meant to tap the Forest. Oh my god. Why am I messing up so much this evening? Oh, that's so brutal. I'm killing myself here. I can't afford those mistakes if I'm going to win this game. And that was huge. That was so bad. That's going to cost me, I don't know how much life at this point. That was the whole reason of playing. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I would have go for the throat up right now had I not tapped in that fashion. And I would just be able to absorb an entire Rhino attack, kill the Shardless. I would gain 3 life over the course of the turn as opposed to just taking a hit for 4. So brutal. Alright. I'm punting so bad. This is atrocious. So they have a removal spell for this Blood Artist too. I'm gonna get even more punished. I can't believe this. Yeah. I'm sorry guys. It's been a long day. I am not playing optimally here. Alright, so we need to draw into EE, and we also need them not to have Force of Vigor, or Force of Negation. Alright. EE, 1 time. Give us a shot. Grist. What does Grist do? Grist. I don't think Grist does anything. Grist plus go for the throat and go down to 2, I guess. We'll go down to, no, we'll go down to 1. We'll at least buy ourselves an extra turn to try to find a go for the throat. Or an engineered explosives. No, I might just be dead here. I miscalculated. Yeah, I think I'm just dead, regardless. So 16 at me. Block, block, block. So I'll take 2, 3. Yeah, I'm super dead. I'm so disappointed in my play this match. So bad. So bad. Yeah, wasn't drawing anything anyway. Didn't see a Yawgmoth in 3 matches. 3 games. Alright, match 5 of our fairly abysmal Modern League. We are playing against RRozanski. We are going to be on the play, and I will take that. I have mulliganed and punted and misclicked my way through this league, and we are going to continue that trend with an opening 7 that is unkeepable. Our 6-card hand, we can keep this. Not happy to see Dryad Arbor in our hand again, but, you know, when you got a trend going, you might as well just keep riding it, you know? We're going down to 6. We're going to get rid of this Dryad Arbor. No offense, Ryan, but I am ready for this league to be over. This has not been a good one. Some challenging matchups over the course of this league, so not this is no fault of the deck list. This is partial pilot error and just tough matchups. Okay, they mulligan to 6. We'll keep our 6. We'll get rid of the Dryad Arbor. See if they keep their 6. They do. Okay. We're gonna lead off with our Verdant Catacombs. We'll be fetching for an Overgrown Tomb momentarily. Let's see what Mr. Rozanski or Ms. Rozanski are. Okay. So feels like Hammer again. Could also be Affinity. I would be surprised if this is Affinity. I don't even know if Affinity runs fetches. I don't think they do. So likely Hammer. Did not want a 3rd Court of Calling. Our deck just doesn't like us today. Alright, so we want to land off the top. That's best case scenario. If we don't pull a land, we're going to be priced into courting for a Dryad Arbor. Let's see if our opponent has a slow hand or a fast hand. They're attacking. We're going to take a hit for 1. Stoneforge, sure. Stoneforge for Cauldron, not the end of the world as long as they can't hammer it up, because we do have this Innkeeper, which is actually not as scary when we can gain life. So we'll play out our Yawgmoth, we'll gain a life. We'll take a big hit from this Cauldron, but then the following turn, we're almost at a point where we can just like take over the game. I don't know what they're thinking about here. They might have a Solitude. I think they have a Solitude. That's the vibe they're giving me. And they're debating whether or not they want to Solitude my Innkeeper or let my Yawg hit play. And if they do have a Solitude, it's going to be pretty bad for us. That's the vibe they were giving off, though. See if that's the case. Okay, land. It's pretty cool plains. I like that. Respect on that plains. We're going to take a hit for 5. And we will go down to 14. They have 4 cards in hand. They have a Hallowed Fountain up representing a Spell Pierce. We'll see if in fact that is what they have. Okay, and that was like best case scenario. Top deck for us. Alright, don't Solitude me, bro. Opponent's doing more thinking. Not sure what about. And they scoop. Wasn't expecting that one. Okay. I'm not sure why there was so much thinking going on the other side of the table. So I'm going to board comparable to what I did earlier in this league. I think they're also on a blue splash. I'm going to bring in this Magus here. So we'll go with those 4. And then on the draw, we're going to pull 2 Grist, 2 Endurance, and what else do I want to pull? Wall of Roots or a Chord of Calling? I think we'll pull Wall of Roots, and we'll go with this. All right. Do we cash? Do we not cash? That is the question. Can we keep a 7-card hand? Okay. Okay, we can work with this. This I'm okay with. Okay, opponents on the play. They're going to mulligan to 6. We will keep our opening 7. See how this one goes. They keep a 6. Let's get after it. Marsh Flats. Fetch. Basic Plains. Sigarda's Aid. Pass the turn. Really like those planes. Those are cool. From the Brothers War Commander. Good choice. Alright. Another Yawgmoth, which represents pitch fodder to a Force of Vigor in my eyes. So I'll play out a bird. We'll pass the turn. Windswept Teeth. Giver, sure. Pretty slow hand from their side of the table. For me, I'm going to go into my Grist here, just because it's the most mana efficient play. And Grist actually isn't even that good in this situation. I guess I could dump down this Giver, but if they have something like a Blacksmith Skill, I'm struggling tonight, guys. If you haven't noticed, if they have a Blacksmith Skill, it will just negate that and then leave me wide open. So I'm not gonna play into that. Okay, Hallowed Fountain, Colossus Hammer, sure. All right, so they're doing this in a moment where I cannot Force a Vigor as much as I would like to. So they can have skill up on their turn to play around. So we'll see what they're doing. They could also have something like a Spell Pierce or a Mana Leak. Okay, they're attacking at Grist. We will block here. Okay, there's the Shadow Spear. And they are representing some form of interaction here. And I think I'm actually just going to let this happen. 2 cards in hand. Maybe not. Maybe I do something about this. I feel like this is going to get countered, but we're going to try this. And they scooped. Okay. Well, that was an uneventful 5th match. We got there with a 3-2. All right, and after 5 matches in which I bumbled, stumbled, and fumbled my way through that league, we have, I think, fortunately finished with a 3-2 record. So we still cashed. Not really up to the standards that I hold myself, but it was. I guess it could have been worse. We could have not cashed, so we'll take it. Playing with Ryan's deck, I really do like this list. I like the way it is constructed. I would definitely do a couple things differently, just as a matter of personal preference. But I think this list is fine if it's one you were fond of and wanted to give a try at some point, and this weekend if you're playing in a tournament or something like that. The big things, Magus of the Moon, I'm underwhelmed with the card. I think I'd rather that slot as a Necromancy. I just think it's just a card that is more applicable in more matchups, and I think I would just prefer Necromancy in that slot as of right now. Like the matchups where Magus is good, a lot of them were already pretty favored in, and Necromancy is like equally good in those matchups in a lot of situations. So that's 1. 2, I don't like double engineered explosives. After playing through that league, EE just felt it was an out in a couple of instances, but I don't think I prefer it over a 3rd Force of Vigor. I think I'd rather have a 3rd Force of Vigor. But if you want to run the first EE over the Crime Punishment, I think that's a very reasonable swap if you're expecting to see Rhinos and creativity in your metagame. So I would go back up to a 3rd Force of Vigor, and I think this weekend I would probably keep an EE in the sideboard over the Crime Punishment. The last thing, Shieldred, didn't really do anything. I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm fairly, my brain just isn't working at this point in the evening, but I guess the last card in my sideboard would have been a Scavenging Ooze. I think Shieldred is fine. If you prefer Shieldred over Scavenging Ooze, I think that's a fairly even trade-off. Shieldred's going to be a little bit more of a consistent threat when you stick it on the board, whereas Scavenging Ooze sometimes can be a little willy-nilly in terms of its... it can be underwhelming at times, especially if you don't have the mana to pump it. So if you like Shieldred better, I think that's fine too. So the big thing is I would change an EE out for a Force of Vigor, and I would change the Magus out for Necromantia. Those would be the two changes I would make if I was running an event this weekend. But outside of that, list looks great. I don't like the 3 forests either. I don't think we need that, so I'd probably go back up to... I don't remember what it was cut for that, but I would probably go back down to 2 forests. Oh, Yawgmoth, that's the card I'm forgetting. So, if you cannot tell, I think it's my bedtime at this point. I don't think I've got much left to give everybody, but I hope we've closed out this video, this week with a video that has provided you with some insight and some, some entertainment and some learning at the same time. This is an educational program that we try to run here. So I hope you've gotten that out of today's video. Ryan, I'm sorry for not doing your list justice. It was better than how I played it. I think I probably could have walked away with a 4-1 that league if I had cleaned up my play a little bit, not misclicked, not mulliganed a gajillion times. It just wasn't the smoothest of leagues, but it is no fault of this list. So don't blame it for that. If you like this list, play it. I'm checking out, everybody. I will see you again on Monday for a brand new episode of Clinical Research, I believe. So we're going to be running a different deck outside of Yawgmoth. I might revisit one of the creature-based strategies that I've been running, that I have run in the last month or so. So maybe Devoted Druid, maybe Winota again. If you have a preference with either one of those videos, let me know in the comments below. Everybody, have a wonderful weekend. I hope you're well. I hope you continue to be well. I'll see you next time. Thank you for joining me.